100 is a straight A, but the class is being based on a curve. So the curve is now brought down low. That's what's happened in society. The curve has been brought down so low that the average score is like a 55, 60. The average score is failing right now. These aren't the videos that get a lot of views. These are the videos that get people mad and in their feelings. Ruslan, what does it mean to be a man? How do you tell the difference between a man and a boy? Great question. When you're responsible for yourself, when you understand that you don't live just for yourself and your pleasures, when all the bills that come to the house have your name on them, when you're self-sustainable, you can cover your needs. It says, if a man not work, he ought not eat. I think there's something about being able to provide. I think a boy is someone that's led primarily by their emotions. I think a boy is someone that is primarily led by pleasure instead of purpose. It doesn't take care of himself, doesn't support himself, kind of snoozes, lets other people take care of him, and isn't leading. So I would say, to me, that those are the biggest differences. A man doesn't just live for himself and pleasure, he lives for purpose. The purpose of his family, the purpose of the calling on his life, the purpose of being in his children's life, of being a good father. The difference is huge. And I think what we're dealing with today is, unfortunately, a generation of boys that can grow a beard and shave. And because they look like men and they talk like men, it's deceptive, because you think they're men, but they're not really men. And this is not, by the way, this isn't an age thing, right? This isn't an age thing. There's a lot of young men that are becoming men that are doing well, but they're not there yet, but they're on the path there, right? The biggest thing is we have this new window that was added probably within the last couple hundred years called adolescence, which is this weird prolonged window, right? Where I think historically, when you're a boy, you start helping on the farm, you start hunting, you start doing things, right? Historically, you start contributing to the household, so that by the time you're of age and you're able to go off, your parents set you up maybe, and you go off and you're able to transition. For this reason, a man will leave his father and mother. You leave your father and mother. You leave and cleave. What we have now is we've extended this window called adolescence. And adolescence, when I was young, used to be like 18 to 24. It was appropriate to still live with your parents, 18 to 24. Now, adolescence is extended to like 18 to 30. So there's grown men living with their parents, no bills to the house come in their name. Their primary purpose is pleasure. They're not responsible for anyone but their own pleasure seeking. They're struggling, and then they don't take care of themselves. They don't take care of their bodies. They don't have any useful skills, and then they wonder why they can't find a mate. Right? This window of adolescence. You want to talk about a social construct? That's a social construct. I think with that, we have a very flawed system for men, and I don't know how to solve this. I think a lot of this is solved from just a mentality shift. But I think a lot of it is also solved from a very tactical, practical, you need to be curious. You need to ask the right questions. You need to develop some good skills. You need to challenge yourself. You need to position yourself in places to be challenged. There's a lot of boys masking around as men. And oftentimes, unfortunately, Christians just enable this. Oftentimes the church just enables this. They enable dysfunctional behavior. They enable not caring for yourself, not developing useful skills, not providing. They enable you to be dysfunctional. They enable you to think you're all-knowing and all-present and have all the answers and have an opinion on everybody and all that kind of stuff. This is the type of Christian culture I want to dismantle. Right? This is the type of things I think are wildly toxic. I'll be very practical. I'll be very practical with you guys. When you see people come on, their primary method of what they put out into the universe, into the online content space is primarily critiquing and hurting. What happens is you then have a culture that's dependent on negativity, exposing people, calling people out, so on and so forth. And that then enables people to what? To be in everybody's business but their own, to not be busy, but be busybodies, to be gossipers, to be slanderers. And that enables you to never develop any useful skills, to never learn about how to handle money, to never learn how to lead, to never learn how to be a husband, to never learn how to be a father, to never learn how to provide for yourself, to never learn how to protect. Why? Because you're spending all your time on YouTube trying to decipher the latest imagery and the latest rituals and the latest symbols. How can you develop any of those other things if you're so caught up trying to expose everyone else instead of looking internally and saying, what sins does God want to expose in me so I can become a man of God? That requires much more effort. It's much easier to point the finger the other way and say, look at the world, look how jacked up they are, look at this person, look at how, what they're doing wrong, instead of saying, wait, let me stop and let me examine my own heart and let me say, before I critique somebody out there, let me look into my own heart and let me look into the issues in my own heart. That's when you start creating caricatures of people you disagree with. I'll give you a really practical example. You guys ready? Here's a very practical example. You think smoking weed is fine though, right? So this is what you do. So instead of actually hearing somebody out and understanding somebody's position, you start doing stuff like this, which is you're conflating their position. I've never said smoking weed is fine. I've said repeatedly that I don't smoke weed or drink alcohol. I've repeatedly said that you shouldn't smoke weed. I repeatedly said you shouldn't smoke anything. But instead of sitting down and listening to someone in long form, you do stuff like this. And this is what I expect children to do. Not really listen, not really engage, not really pay attention, only listen to respond. Men don't do this. Men don't spend all their time critiquing other men. Men don't spend all their time talking about other men. Men don't spend all their time gossiping. Men don't spend all their time being busybodies. Men don't spend all their time being insecure and needing to attack other people. Men man up and focus on what's in front of them instead of being concerned about the peripheral on what they think is going on in the world. They focus on what they're responsible for. And they don't spend a bunch of time attacking other people who do things differently than they would do things. Meaning that if I don't drink alcohol, but you want to go have a beer or have a glass of wine with your wife, what business is it of mine what you do with your wife? It's none of my business. Why? Because I'm a man, because I have my own things to worry about. So it is what it is. It is what it is. But that was a manifestation of it right there, right? That was I'm not really listening to you. I'm not really paying attention to what you're saying. I'm just going to listen to respond, and I'm going to make an emotional accusation about something that you've never said. I've never said that smoking weed is okay. If anything, I've brought, quote, Christians who have dabbled in weed and kind of chastised them publicly on my channel for smoking weed, and how terrible I think it is for the vast majority of people, not talking about medicinal things, right? So I speak to men. I don't really speak. I'll let women speak to women. Like let the women lead them. Let the women lead the women. I'll speak to the men, and I'll say, hey, this is incongruent for you to act this way. For you to think that your family is going to be okay with living in a trailer park, which I had a 21-year-old man literally tell me this in real life to my face. You thinking that is cute at 21. You thinking that at 25 may be cute. You thinking that at 31, when you have a wife and kids, they're not going to be okay with you living in a trailer park. Get your money up. Get your skills up, get your network up. That's how you get your money up, by the way. Learn to manage money. Learn to not just pursue pleasure. Learn to pursue purpose with the little bit of money you have, right? To whom much is given, much is required. He was given little. If he's faithful with that, he'll be given more. This is how all these things tend to work. I think we're just moving so far away from it. But here's the beautiful part. Because the bar is set so low for how you are expected to act, because of adolescence being extended into your 30s, because of all these different things, if you just halfway get your life together, goodness gracious, the carpet is going to be rolled out for you. Right? If you just halfway get your money right, if you just halfway get your disciplines right, man, the bar is set so low for men, the bar is set so low for people. Most people are passive aggressive. Most people gossip. Most people slander. Most people are consumed with things that's none of their business. Most people are led by their emotions. Most people are coasting through life, reacting to things that happen to them instead of being proactive to how they can lead in the areas that God has given them dominion over. Those of us that really understand how low the bar is set, just know that if I could just If I could just go above and beyond. It's proven over and over to people, you guys just don't want the truth, right? Like you just don't want the truth. It's like me talking to rappers. Like I talk to Christian rappers all the time, and they're like, oh, it's just so hard. Oh my gosh. And then I'm like, yo, Nick D just signed a multi-six-figure deal with Universal Republic for one song, 90 days, got in and got out and blew up, and he doesn't even have a Christian rap following. It's possible, but are you willing to work as hard as Nick D? Oh, you're not. See, we got to the bottom of it. Oh, I'm just having trouble meeting someone. Okay, how are you eating? Are you taking care of your body? Are you fit? Are you pleasant to be around? Are you curious? Do you ask good questions? Do you have useful skills? Are you willing to expand your friend group? Because I don't know. In my local church, I see a gang of people meeting people, getting young or getting married young, starting families. Right? I know guys like Zach Sparazzo who built a six-figure business at 21. I know guys like John Keith, who I met at 17, who's working with Indie Tribe, touring, making good money. He's about to get married in October. My homegirl and homeboy Jose Makana, they just got married. They're expecting their first baby. They're under 25. So, right? Like I'm going to bring some of these people on the channel because I really feel like y'all don't believe me. And if the bar is set so low, if you can score 100 or you can score, 100 is a straight A, but the class is being based on a curve. So the curve is now brought down low. That's what's happened in society. The curve has been brought down so low that the average score is like a 55, 60. The average score is failing right now. To be average is to fail. To be average is to live paycheck to paycheck. To be average is to not have an emergency fund for a minor expense. To be average is to not be happy. To be average is not take care of your mental health. To be average, the bar is set so low for the average. And you're just a 85. Everyone's a 65. You're just a 85. You don't gotta be Nick D. Like you don't gotta be young, good looking, talented, and focused, and can rap, and right. You don't even gotta be a 95. You could just be an 85, and you're gonna blow the competition out the water. Are we willing to have these conversations? We're not. We're not really having these conversations. These aren't the videos that get a lot of views. These are the videos that get people mad and in their feelings.
Kingstream Entertainment. Ruslan.
When the culture says do what you love, we respond with love what you do. You may have responsibilities that you aren't passionate about, but loving what you do means being faithful to what's in front of you, committing to excellence as if that were your greatest dream. Colossians 3:23 says, work diligently at whatever you do, as though you were working for the Lord rather than for people. Love what you do. Love what you do.
King.
Yo, thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. If you found it valuable, considering giving it a like and subscribing. This month, I'm releasing the Love What You Do collection. And to celebrate, I'm doing a 3-day virtual event to help us go from learning to love what we do to ultimately doing what we love. By the way, it's free, so hit the link in the description to grab your seat today.